Thank you. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? Yeah! Who's excited? Who's excited to be here? I'm pretty excited. I love this. I don't know. I had a heckler yesterday, but I don't know if he's here. I don't know if he's out on bail or not. I hear he has some problems with the law. I can heckle back now that I found out who he is. We'll post a video. If you follow me on social media, I like to post everything. I just go with it. I don't mean to make enemies. I just somehow do with my big ass mouth. But I also want to teach you. I've done very well in the markets. I've turned a few thousand into several million. I'm actually flying to Asia tonight because I'm building schools everywhere. I have 2 new schools opening. We have, this will be school number 48 and 49 with my charity foundation. And it all comes from successful investing in trading. Not, long shots looking for a speck of gold or oil or some weird fucking mineral I can't pronounce in some country that is probably just going to give me malaria. A lot of these things that you're hearing at this conference and in investment and on Wall Street in general are just such long shots, such bullshit guessing games. You're just not going to get rich. I don't mean to shit on people's, life work, but I'm sorry. I've just been around for 20 years. I've seen so many pipe dreams. Even the best laid plans can fail. So how do you actually choose the best investments? Here's my legal disclaimer. I'm not a professional at all. I'm just a random guy telling you what I know. I don't even own a suit. I hear, suits are the new thing to wear, but I'm going to a place that's 80 fucking degrees out tomorrow. So this is literally the coldest stuff that I have. With thousands of potential investments, how do you actually narrow it down? There's actually millions of investments, but I think there's thousands of investments here in this room alone. How do you narrow it down? Everything sounds so good. The CEOs will only say the most positive stuff. The promoters will say the most amazing stuff in exchange for 400,000 unrestricted shares or off-the-book shares, some crap shit like that. For me, I'm never going to be 100% perfect. This is my profit chart. Over the past 20 years, if you look on the right, or if you just look online, you follow me on Timothy Sykes, I share all this stuff publicly. I'm right about 70% of the time. So I'm wrong about 30% of the time. How did I get rich? How do I stay rich? How do I get richer? I cut my losses. Very, very important. I am not sticking around if something's going wrong, if something even looks to be going wrong. I talk fast, I trade fast, I think fast, I act fast, and that way I don't get damaged. Once upon a time, I believed in some of these pipe dreams in these companies, and I lost $500,000 plus. It wisened me the fuck up. I don't want to lose $500,000 plus anymore. It sucked for several months. It created a drinking problem. It kind of ruined my reputation, but it was a good lesson. And I'm grateful for the big loss because now I trade, I'm scared as shit when I trade. If you become one of my students, you'll see that I trade overly scared. And this hurts me from making such big gains like I used to, but I'm also living a rather stress-free life. I think that you guys should focus less on company stories and more on price action. I was on a panel last night with some very big legends, and they're talking about the world ending and doomsday and gold going to 5,000. And I was like, well, if gold is going to go to 5,000, why can't it fucking break 2,000? If you're going to have these big pie-in-the-sky moves, you're going to have some uptrends first. But they're kind of preying on your need to, want action, your desire to be there first. And you just don't need to be. So for me, what I've learned is that the biggest percentage moves in the stocks that I trade happen after they've already hit several technical scans. They're up 20%, they're up 30% on the day with good news. And the biggest runners take several days, several weeks, several months to spike. So you're not gonna miss out on any 1,000% spike. I know, okay, we're at a mining conference every now and then, you strike gold, you strike something huge, and you actually do get that move that you can't follow. But if you try to chase those odds, you will not do well. You will be very stressed. You will need a lot of pharmaceuticals, and that's why the pharmaceutical industry is booming. The best plays jump out at you, okay? So I travel all over the world, not just for charity, not just for fun, but because it helps me. I'm a degenerate trader, okay? This is actually an intervention. This is fucked up that you guys all showed up at my intervention, and you're degenerate traders too, and this isn't helping any of us. So we need to trade less. We need to help each other because the best plays are such gimmies. I have a few haters online, but the haters actually, one guy in particular said, Sykes, why don't you be a real man and trade Forex? Why don't you trade some, real stuff rather than your little bullshit penny stock gimmies? And I'm like, I'm gonna stick with my little bullshit penny stock gimmies. They made me rich. Forex, 5 out of 6 Forex traders blow up in the first 6 months. If you look at odds and stats, the odds are stacked against you. 90% of traders lose. 70% of investors can't even beat the S&P 500, which goes up in a lousy 8 to 10% per year. Not to mention last year where it was down. So I know that you all want action. I know you want investments. Start to think the opposite. Have the patience to wait for the best plays that have multiple indicators. I trade stocks. I'm looking at stocks every single day, but I don't want to just trade anything. There's literally thousands of stocks in play every day, thousands or tens of thousands of pieces of news that you can analyze, and you can say, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. Understand that it's mostly a guessing game. And if you play the guessing game that everybody else is playing, you're not going to get rich. You're not going to do what is seemingly impossible. I do some pretty crazy stuff. My top students do some pretty crazy stuff, and it's due to patience. Buying stocks only when they're hitting new highs with catalysts in our favor, ideally in a hot sector, which none exists right now, or shorting stocks, shorting scams. There might be some short sellers among you. If I was primarily a short seller these days, which I'm not, but if I was, I would go to mining conferences and look for the most exaggerated, hype-filled promises and short the fuck out of that stock, because they're most likely lying to you. They're most likely looking to hire promoters. They're most likely gonna fail. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So those are the kinds of things that I like to trade, when it's not a question of if, it's just when. And then you can work on timing, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I teach and technical indicators that you can time. But I travel so often to avoid over trading. And this is why I love my life. I'm very fortunate to be able to travel anywhere and everywhere, but it's also to protect me. Like I said, I'm a degenerate trader. I have to say that in every speech. That's a real disclaimer right there. Forget about just the legal disclaimer. I am a degenerate trader. I have to control my degenerate tendencies by traveling, by going to third world countries where there's Wi-Fi is terrible. I'm, trading in the middle of the night, so I'm not looking forward to trading. You shouldn't look forward to investing. You shouldn't look forward to making money. Obviously, we all want to. But if you look forward to it, you start to overtrade, overinvest, force plays. You're in the wrong plays when the right play comes about. You can't get out of the wrong play. Maybe you have restricted stock. I've seen it all. I don't have all the answers, but I do have 2 decades of experience now. I consider myself a retired trader who only comes out of retirement when there's a play that's good enough. And I know that's crazy because, I'm a trader, I'm a trading educator, there's 1,000 people in my chat room every day. How can I say I'm a retired trader? But that mindset protects me from myself. Who here has seen a superhero movie? Raise your hands. Most of you. I think everybody has. Some people just don't want to admit it, right? But superhero movies, a lot of them are normal people with these superhuman abilities. My superhuman ability is that I'm a fucking degenerate. And I need to recognize that, and I need to keep the degenerate in his little cave. I don't want to turn into the beast, for that analogy. Patience increases my odds of winning. Patience increases your odds of winning. I know it sounds crazy, but the more that you just sit on the sidelines and observe. And mind you, this means sometimes missing some plays because you're sitting on the sidelines, you have such a patient mindset, but having this mindset protects you from overtrading. And then when you do strike, when you do find an investment or a trade, it's really usually good. You could still be wrong, mind you. Even with my whole patience attitude, I'm still wrong roughly a third of the time. But at least having this mindset protects me. And when I am in a trade, I cut my losses very quickly if it's still going the wrong way. So it's very difficult to lose being patient and trading like a coward. And I know this isn't what people want to hear. Everyone's always surprised when I say it because I turned a few thousand into several million, so they're expecting, what's the secret to going all in and using leverage and making a lot of money? It's the opposite. I never use leverage. I never go all in. I'm just patient and overly patient and cowardly, even overly cowardly. I take my profits too quick. I did an interview with Kitco a few hours ago, and they're like, what's the secret to making 1,000% returns on a stock? And I'm like, I have no fucking idea. I take my profits at 10, 20, 30%. I go for singles. I don't go for home runs or grand slams. So this whole mentality allows me to take small singles, small base hits over and over. And the gains add up over time if you let them. When I'm not sure about a company, or let's say even the overall market, because 3 out of 4 stocks follow the market at all times, I do not trade it. Okay? I need all my indicators to line up. A lot of people are asking me, what's the hot sector right now? There's nothing. Okay? We had Bitcoin, we had cryptocurrency, we had weed, we had CBD. Before that, we had Ebola, police equipment, China, biotech, medtech, nanotech. There's always some sector being hyped in the past. But right now, we're kind of in this zone where I think there's frankly a lot of fear because of what happened in December with the overall stock market. And sometimes the best trade is no trade. Sometimes you just stay liquid and you just wait for opportunities. I'm scared to invest for the long term in stocks. I'm scared to invest in real estate because I don't know if December was just the beginning of a bigger crash or if it was just, some nice consolidation after a big multi-decade run-up. I don't know. So when I don't know, I do nothing. And this is a game of discipline. Okay? I know you think that it's all about research, and the more hours you put in, the more that you'll learn, and you'll have some edge over somebody who doesn't burn the midnight oil like you do, and you're researching some fucking weird district off the coast of Canada, and you think that's the secret. Well, maybe it is, okay? I'm not a professional miner. I do know odds, and if you shoot for those very low odds type plays, you're just going to be disappointed the vast majority of the time. Maybe you hit once and that's all you need, and God bless those people. But I'm trying to go for something that's high odds with less stress. And when I'm doing nothing, I can go out and enjoy and live my life. It's not laziness. It's actually good. It's keeping me away from being the degenerate trader that I've mentioned a few times. So do you have enough patience to wait for the best plays? I know you all want to make money, but can you afford not to make money right now? This day, this week, this month, this year? Can you afford to wait for the absolute best play? Here is some examples. I spoke at one of these conferences 3 months ago, and this was the chart that I showed, PURA, this little piece of shit wannabe CBD play. And the stock was spiking from 2-3 cents all the way up to 24 cents, 12 times your money. This is a 50-day chart. Each one of these candles represents 1 day. So it was in play. Let's see how it's done since. This is the past 50 days. Absolutely nothing. So for me, I'm looking at charts. It's not just about the company's story. If the price action isn't there, I simply do nothing. That's what you have to understand. Here's another chart from the last conference I spoke at, CVSI, another wannabe weed play. These are my kinds of stocks. I don't hold the whole time. Again, on the run-ups, I try to take 10, 20%, then I sell, usually too early. I sold way too early on this one. I was in on the 2s, out in the 2s, and it went all the way up to 8. So I missed a lot of it, but I made a little bit of money, and I learned. This was the chart last time. This is the chart this time. In 50 days, it has done absolutely nothing. And I know they're putting out press releases. The company is maturing. Business is actually going on. But for me as a trader, as an investor, I don't want any part of this. Okay? Wake me up when it breaks out to new highs. This kind of looks like gold too over the past few days and weeks. Wake me up when there's an actual technical breakout or technical breakdown. Too many people get obsessed with a story. They fall in love with a story. And most of these stocks, most of these companies will go bankrupt. Let me just remind you, no matter how excited people are at these conferences and how excited the management is, the vast majority of people, if we flash forward into 5 or 10 years, the vast majority of companies here will be bankrupt or close to it. So I'm sorry to be the bad guy who brings up history and stats, but I like doing that. I don't like just believing hype or management promises. That's the way to ruin. Here is my top student, Tim Gray Thani, turned 1,500. 4 months ago, or 3 months ago, he was at just crossing $7 million in profits. And if you look at all of his trades, which are all public, me and all my top students show every single trade, he's winning just, what is his average gain? $2,800. My average gain is about $2,000. So I'm trying to make $2,000, $2,000, $2,000. When I lose, I'm trying to lose $200 or $300. My gains are bigger than my losses. I'm trying to take singles over and over and over again. And mind you, I've only made a few $1 million in my life. So I'm not somebody who makes $1 million in a day. But I do believe that, all you need is a few $1 million in life. I think too many people are trying to make $1 billion. I know several billionaires, they're very unhappy. Everybody knows how rich they are. They're being used by wives and girlfriends and boyfriends and all sorts of bad people. They need security all the time. I actually gave a TEDx talk on how I'll never be a billionaire. That didn't go over very well. I gave it to a room full of business school kids who all they want to do is be a billionaire. And I was like, fuck all your dreams, you're wrong. Make a few $1 million, that's all you need. It was actually bombed on YouTube too. But I'm serious, I think that's the best. Like, I don't want to be a billionaire. If I ever make, somehow, if I, latch onto the right investment or trade and I make, $1 billion, I'll donate 98% of it. And I'll stick with, 20 million. That's fine. You can live a fantastic life, a stress-free life, not totally stress-free, but low-stress life with just a few $1 million in your bank account. And here he is 3 months later, he's now at 7.4 million. So he's making a little over $100,000 per month, $2,000 at a time on average. Here's an example, something that is happening. There might not be a hot sector right now, but there's still every now and then good plays. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, kind of controlled by the government, kind of not. It's kind of a weird situation, especially for the stocks. Ever since they had problems back in 2008, the government has been trying to, get away. Companies should be off on their own. So this news just came out Friday morning. Here's a chart of Fannie Mae. I actually bought this on Friday. I made a few $100. This is a nice breakout. Each one of these represents one candle, and Friday the stock was up over 30%. This is my kind of a chart, okay? It might not have a hot sector, it might not be the hottest market, but with that news, with a stock that's a former runner, with massive volume, with a multi-month breakout, the indicators were going for it. And true to form, I underestimated it. Could have made about $3,000. I made a few hundred. I played it too safe, but at least I was ready and waiting. Every single day I'm waiting for some company, some stock to show me something. Like, prove to me, why do you deserve my money? Why do you deserve my time? Fannie Mae earned it with its technical breakout, with a news catalyst, with its history of being a former runner. Those three indicators were enough for me, even though it's not my ideal kind of play, because this is still a multi-billion-dollar company. I prefer smaller companies. I do encourage you guys to stick with small companies. That's one thing that you guys are doing right. Rather than going to, Berkshire Hathaway's annual conference, that's fantastic. If you want to become a millionaire by the time you're 100, you can buy some fucking titanium new hip just so that you can, waddle out of your mansion. I don't know about, long-term blue chip investing. I know about short-term trading of piece of shit stocks where it's predictable, because most of the people trading these piece of shit stocks are morons. So you have an advantage. I gave an example during my speech yesterday that I'm sorry, I'm really toning it down right now, but I'm trying to be polite in front of my Canadian audience, okay? But hey, come on, have some maple syrup, come on. I try and make this stuff entertaining too. Don't take everything so personally. I think that you should stick to piece of shit stocks, because if you look around the room and the people that you meet, not the most intelligent people, okay? And that's good. I'm not the most intelligent person. So if you have a room full of idiots, you can probably make money off them somehow. You can find your angle. Versus if you're at Berkshire Hathaway, there's a lot of people who are really smart, really wealthy. I don't want to compete against them, okay? If you're trading Forex, you're competing against George Soros and all these algorithms. I don't even know how to spell the word algorithm. So I don't want any part of that big competition. Stick with the piece of shit sector, stick with the piece of shit people, but at the same time, it's cool, because if you're even a little smarter, even if you do a little history and look at a little, stats, and what these companies and these people and these big projects do over time, you'll have an advantage. And here's Freddie Mac, same chart as Fannie Mae. So you have countless opportunities, but ignore the vast majority of them as they are shit. This is how my top students and I became multimillionaires. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Succeeding and really, thriving in investing and trading is hard enough. Remember, 90% of traders lose. Roughly. Maybe it's 95%. There's been a few academic studies. So most people lose. If they say they're winning, they're usually full of shit. We show everything online. This is what has, frankly, built my education business, just showing every trade, income tax returns, audits, being honest, as you can tell with my speech. Learn to risk your money on only the best setups, not guessing games. That's my speech. Thank you, guys. Hey, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that they help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the years. You can check out more videos right over there. And also click subscribe so that you can watch all of these videos, get that knowledge, and become my next millionaire student.